All right, today I wanted to show you approvals of invoices, credit memos in our new system. So when you first log in, you're going to see on your dashboard page, which is your landing page when you ever log in, your thresholds if you have any, and then below that will be vendor invoices, credit memos pending. So to start off looking at this, you have your vendor, you have your job description, your job title, that is, the project manager of that project, who entered the invoice or credit memo type, the job number that's associated with that invoice, the document itself that you can click on and open up, the amount, approved, reject, and edit. So as a manager, you would also then see people that report to you. So if I look at John, for example, when he logs in, he can see Jason's, Martin's, and Matthew's. And in case they were out of town or unable to go in and approve some of their invoices, he could look at the documents, verify the amounts, and approve it, reject, or edit it. Or maybe I'll just log in as myself. And since I sit up at the top, I have everybody. All right, so now I'm Ms. David, and the first thing I looked at is ACTI, and this is the job. I can click on the link to look at the job itself for a shortcut to look at the accounting or the attachments. Of course, we're familiar with that. I can then look at the document itself and say, oh, wait, this is Annexter. This is the wrong vendor. So this is where I would go in and I would reject the invoice and let AP know that this was the wrong vendor. Please reload. And we would save it. So now that we've done that, we'll show you the emails in a second. There will be an email sent to AP to re-enter that invoice in the right place. So now let's assume that this was Annexter and it was for $35. And we said, oh, wait, let's say they charged us shipping. So we're okay with the amount at $35, but they charged us shipping of $5, and we said, no, we shouldn't be paying shipping. So we would close this, and instead of rejecting it, and of course we wouldn't want to approve it for the full amount, we could go in and edit the amount. And we could say that invoice was for $35.33, but we really should have paid $30, and no shipping should be charged. So now that we've saved that, an email will go to accounts payables and the project manager of that ticket, and so that they can notify the vendor that this invoice was approved for $30. We are going to short pay it $5.33, so that they understand when the check comes in. All right. The next thing we can do with a vendor invoice is we've talked about edit it, we've talked about approving it, and again, approving is simply letting it go as is. So if the invoice matches to the job number you want it on, when you click approve, it will push it on through. The final step is we can edit it and split it on jobs. So we say, okay, 125 was right, 55, but I needed that to be on two different jobs. So we can go simple for, I want it to go on 2.0, and I want it to go on 71349, and I'm going to put in here splitting 3 ways. All right, so those are the things you can do with an invoice. Again, you can approve it, it simply pushes it into the system. You can reject it, which accounts payable will address the issue there, or you can edit it, which is approving it but with changes. So you can short pay it for, maybe they charged you tax and they shouldn't have charged you tax. Maybe they charged you shipping, they shouldn't have charged you shipping. Or you wanted to split it on multiple jobs. Either way, we're approving it to pay, and you may or may not have to address that with the vendor if you're short paying it. And then as you see, the next one are credit memos. So again, we can simply approve a credit memo, we can reject a credit memo, or we can edit a credit memo. However, on editing a credit memo, we cannot change the total, but we can change the job. So we said, oh, that wasn't supposed to go on 20. That needs to go on 21. It needs to go on 20. And so we're going to say change job credit. All right, and we're going to hit save. Now these are also getting loaded to the ticket as well as being pushed into QuickBooks. So for example, if I go to 74420, we can go find those vendor invoices we just approved. And here they are. So here's the credit memo that we changed the job on. Here was the invoice we split 3 ways. So it was originally $125.55. It's now $41.85 split on 3 different jobs. But here's where you can see all the different credit memos and or invoices. All right, so now let's look at what the emails look like when they come in. So the first one was the first invoice that we rejected for 23. Email came into AP and says, wrong vendor, please reload. So that's addressed. The next one we edited and said shipping should not have been charged. The original invoice was for $35.33. The new amount being pushed into QuickBooks is $30. So that one's going to get paid to the vendor, no problem. The following one is we split it 3 ways. So we've got the next 3 tickets. The original invoice -3 was for $125.55. We split it to $41.85, $41.85, and $41.85. So now those 3 are entered. So then we got our credit memos. Again, we can't edit the amount, but we've entered the credit memo, and that was approved. And then finally, we had the one where we changed the job. So it was 74421, and now we changed it to 74420, and that has been now pushed into QuickBooks. So if you have any questions, email IT, and we'll try and address your issues. Thank you.